going on, Vikings fans? Welcome on in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I think the Vikings could have two studs that nobody is talking about, and that being Jalen Redmond, defensive tackle, and then possibly the biggest winner so far from Vikings training camp, former third overall pick out of Ohio State, Jeff Okudah. Both these guys could be playing massive roles for this defense, so we'll dive into them on today's show. But speaking about guys that could break out and could become household names by the end of the season, you guys let me know down below in the comments section. Name a player that will break out for the Minnesota Vikings this year. I'm going to call my shot with this one. I'll go Jeff Okudah. Give me him as my top breakout candidate for the Vikes. But if you guys could, name a player down below. So why we're going to be talking about both these guys, because after everything we're hearing from training camp and even seeing Jalen Redmond this past season when he was getting reps with the Vikings defense, I think him and Okudah are two players that will make a massive impact for the Vikings this upcoming season. Now, will it be both those guys being, every down starters? I don't necessarily think so, but it could be them maybe getting some big-time rotational reps. Maybe a starter goes down due to injury, and they got to step up for a big-time game because this Vikings schedule is very, very challenging. And with a team that has, Super Bowl expectations, you got to be deep. And I could see both these guys being called on at some point this year. So we're going to start off with Jalen Redmond here. Don't sleep on Redmond. I think after every move the Vikings have made this offseason, and this is on me as well, I feel like us Vikings fans have kind of forgotten how truly special this guy was last year. And, PFF grades, whatever you want to call it, whether you guys, think this is everything you need to know when evaluating players, but I do think they do a good job just going over how impactful they were. And Redmond was impactful. He had an overall grade of 77.2. That was 13th in the whole NFL out of 219 eligible defensive tackles. Now, obviously, he's way better in the run defense game. 16th overall, 73.0 overall grade there. But also, he only played in just over 200 snaps. So the question becomes with Redmond, if he gets up to like 400, 500 snaps, can he maintain this production? That's a huge question mark. But this guy's got a really cool story to him. He is 26 years old. He attended Oklahoma, played his college ball with the Sooners. Now, he's a little bit of a shorter defensive tackle, but he's super big, super, super strong. And he actually was in the XFL his first year out of college, and he was unreal. And that was a big reason why the Carolina Panthers picked him up. They ended up waiving him, and then the Vikings tried to take advantage, and it might end up paying out. But again, freak athlete. Ran a 4.8 40-yard dash at 295 pounds. And why he's got a cool story to him. So this guy, when he got to Oklahoma, he actually was dealing with a blood clot issue in 2018, which held him out for the whole season. And it was something he was just kind of trying to navigate during his early college career. So he wasn't really able to, become a household name in college and get drafted and really live up to who a lot of people thought he was going to be coming out of high school. And he was a five-star recruit coming out of high school. And he actually got his first college offer before playing any varsity football, which, kind of speaks to, just the flashes he was probably showing when he was 14, 15, 16 years old that, people were looking at this guy as a potential Power 5, like, Oklahoma level defensive tackle. And, it's going to be a huge question mark. Will he be able to get good rotational minutes or rotational snaps with this defense? Because he did pick up Hargrave, Allen. You got Harrison Phillips there. But I think there's a chance this upcoming season that he outsnaps Harrison Phillips at the defensive tackle spot. Now, Harrison Phillips, great in the locker room. He's a great guy to have on that defensive line. But he also took a step back this past season. And again, his PFF grades don't really shake out too well, especially compared to a guy like Jalen Redmond. Now, again, he was playing almost 700 snaps this year, so kind of got to grade that on a curve just a little bit, but still nothing too great. 88th overall out of all of the defensive tackles. Wasn't too good in the run defense department, which was his calling card dating back to his days with the Buffalo Bills. But I wouldn't be shocked, especially if the Vikings are showing, let's just say Flores, he switches up his fronts all the time, but let's just say they're showing like a typical 4-3 front. Like, I could see even like Redmond being that other defensive tackle next to a Hargrave or an Allen, just because Hargrave and Allen, not the best run defensive minded defensive tackles. So I could see him getting a lot more snaps than we think. So don't sleep on Jalen Redmond. And if you guys want to show Big Red some love down below in the comment section, type those 61s down below. He was awesome last year. Like, he came out of nowhere because it was kind of in the middle, second half of the season. Like, I remember that Falcons and Cardinals stretch. I was like, Jalen Redmond's going to make a play every single game for the remainder of the season. So if you guys want to show him some love, type those 61s down below. Now, coming up here next on the show, we'll be diving into Jeff Okudah, probably the biggest winner from Vikings training camp so far. So we'll discuss him a little bit more in depth in a second. But before we do so, I got to tell you guys about a new product we have here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports, and that is Daily Greens by Factor Form. Now, start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. Now, I've tried green supplements in the past, and I swore I was never going to try them again. Just wasn't really my thing. But then I tried Factor Form's Daily Greens, and it completely changed how I just thought about drinking greens. And, let's be honest, most of us dread drinking greens. But Factor Form changed the game. You actually crave your greens every single morning. And as the sister brand of Factor Meals, Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. Daily Greens is a greens powder by Factor Form that you'll look forward to drinking. Just one scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrients, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. With a refreshing, citrusy, clean, and smooth taste that's actually enjoyable to drink, mix a single serve pack in water, and you're good to go. Now, my favorite part of Daily Greens by Factor Form is it ranked number 1 in taste, texture, and aroma in a blind taste test, beating out some of the biggest names in the industry. So start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat. And you guys will get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/VikingsChat for 40% off plus free shipping. Hit that link in the comment section and description of today's show, factor75.com/VikingsChat. All right, let's talk about Jeff Okudah. Probably the guy on the Vikings roster I am rooting for the most this season. Like, I am a big fan of his game. He has gone through a lot of stuff in his NFL career, and he finally may be having that chance to break out under Brian Flores and this defense. And why we're even discussing him is because he's been making plays and turning heads all training camp. Like, Brian Flores has taken notice. Even the fans at training camp have been hitting me up, being like, dude, you got to see this Okudah guy. Him going one-on-one with our wide receivers. He's looking great. And also, think about the Vikings wide receiver room. Outside of even Jefferson and Addison, who we know are, top of the league at that position, still got to deal with Ty Felton, Jalen Naylor, Rondell Moore. There's talent in that room. So every one-on-one rep he gets, it's some good competition. And he's competing, and he's taking notice, especially from our very own number 18, Justin Jefferson. That's what he had to say on Okudah, saying he has that speed and has that ability to really play make and just be that annoying cornerback. That's what I like to call those types of corners, annoying cornerbacks, because they know how to be physical. They know how to get you off your route and not be able to have free access. And, that style and that archetype of corner is exactly the type of corner that thrives under a Brian Flores system, where I'm sure there'll be some games where Okudah may even play over a guy like Isaiah Rodgers, and they're just saying, hey, Okudah, you're just going one-on-one with this guy the entire night. You're just going to go play press man. We're going to have no safety help over the top. If you get beat, you get beat. But I think that's how they're going to deploy him. It could be very similar to how Flores deployed a guy like Xavier Howard. And that one year, Xavier Howard had double-digit interceptions. Not saying Okudah could do that, but he could play a very, very similar role. And Flores has been talking about him as well, saying in his time here, he's been as diligent from on the field, off the field, training room, weight room. He's always looking to do extra film work. I don't know what's happened in other buildings. I know since he's been here, it's been great to coach him. I think he's getting better. I think he's getting more comfortable within the defense and what we're asking him to do. And he's showing up positively, really in every way. I'm excited to watch him continue to improve. I think he's got a lot of skill. And also, this is kind of icing on the Jeff Okudah cake here. He knows this is his final shot in the NFL. He understands, if I don't work out in Minnesota, if I don't have a good year, probably won't be playing in the NFL too much longer, which also could have a guy have some sense of desperation. He could be looking at this as being like, hey, I know I'm only on a 1 year, $2.35 million deal with only $1.17 guaranteed. If I go ball out and I go have a good year, who knows what type of contract he could get? Because at the end of the day, he was a third overall pick. The natural talent is 100% still there. It's just, can a coaching staff get that out of him? And then can he put in that extra work, which, him knowing this is his final shot, I'm sure this guy is going to be a football sicko. I'm sure he's, getting in early, staying late, whatever buzz phrase you want to use for him working hard. But I promise you he is doing that. And I'm very excited to watch him play. I think he has a chance to be that third corner. Even, like, let's just say it works out. He could end up being the second corner on this team if he ends up playing good enough football. But I'll ask you guys this. What say you on this one? Will Jeff Okudah be a starter for the Minnesota Vikings? Keep in mind, this is pretty much Vikes will normally only run 2 corners on the field at one time. So him or Isaiah Rodgers, do you think Okudah has a chance to be a starter for some games? Give me a Y for yes, or give me an N for no down below. Now, if you guys want more around the Minnesota Vikings, please feel free to hit me up on Twitter. We tweet about training camp, preseason, everything. If you guys want to hit me up in the DMs with a question, again, feel free to do so. But we'll see you guys next time. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Let's go Vikes.